With Inauguration Day right around the corner, Tiger TV decided to hit the streets and find out what students thought about President Obama, President-elect Trump, and this very controversial election cycle. Let's see what they had to say.
Tiger TV reporter Philip Flettrich is live from the practice field. Philip?
Guys, the LSU women's lacrosse team recently started their season earlier this month, and unfortunately it got off to a rocky start. They lost 2 out of their first 3 games, and with a 2016 record that finished 9-2, they have a lot to live up to. I'm here with club president and senior Erin Esch. Erin, how's the team looking for the rest of the season?
Well, like you said, we had a rough start last week, but we are focusing more on practice. We're getting our plays down, and I think we'll be pretty good the rest of the season. We hope to make it to playoffs in April.
And how do you think, what have y'all fixed to prepare for the rest of the season?
We're just staying more focused during practice. I think we weren't quite all there, but now everyone knows what we have to do. We know what the work we have to put in, so I think we'll pull it out.
All right, well, good luck. Guys, you heard it here. The Tigers will travel to Oxford, Mississippi, March 8th to take on the Ole Miss Rebels and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. For Tiger TV, I'm Philip Flettrich. Speaking of cats, LSU veterinarian Dr. David Baker is continuing the search for a tiger to become the new beloved mascot, Mike the Tiger. In the meanwhile, his habitat is currently under construction, which is expected to be finished before the big cat arrives in August. Tiger TV reporter Abby Rocha has more. With a major overhaul to the TOPS program happening this summer, come fall, luxury apartment complexes and condominiums may no longer be a viable option for students. Mike's Habitat is already a state-of-the-art facility, and keeping a live tiger on our campus not only brings in thousands of visitors every year, but it also raises awareness about tiger conservation globally. Good evening, I'm Philip Flettrich. August 2016 was a month associated with devastation and loss, a month when historic floods swept through the Baton Rouge area. Almost 8 months later, many residents are still out of their homes and coming to terms with what happened.
We contemplated selling our house on the front end and looked into doing that, but just not sure what the right thing to do is anymore.
Myra Manser, like many other Baton Rouge residents, is still coping with the devastation left from the flooding in early August of 2016.
On August the 14th, we woke up at 3 or 3:30 to water coming in our house, and we were able to get our cars out in time, but pretty much lost everything. That's, if you think about the height of your doorknobs, we got right about 39 inches.
This storm was not only astonishing for its devastation, it was also quite the meteorological event. LSU professor and state climatologist Dr. Barry Keim said that this storm was just like a hurricane.
This is what I would call a tropical depression, but the Hurricane Center basically said it wasn't tropical enough. It had tropical characteristics, but it wasn't tropical enough, and as a result, they never actually called it a tropical depression.
This storm was quite unique in that it passed the 100 and even the 1,000 year mark for record rainfall.
And all this area here in this magenta color, that's all 10 inches or more of rain. And if you look at the size of this, I mean, that's almost a quarter of the size of the state of Louisiana. So that's a huge area with a large dump of moisture, of rainfall in this case. Everything inside the purple is 15 inches or more, and then everything inside the white is 20 inches or more of rain.
In an event like this, preparedness is key, according to Dr. Keim. But for Manser and her family, they still have a long road ahead of them before a sense of normalcy can return to their life.
We're hoping to be back in early May, but right now we don't have bathrooms yet. We're just getting flooring. We don't have appliances installed or countertops. So, if that can get done in the next 6 weeks, then we'd love to move in the 1st of May, but I don't know.
Many residents still have months of work ahead of them before they can return to a sense of normalcy. Visit volunteerbatonrouge.com to find out how you can help those that have been affected by this disaster. Brett and Larissa, back to you. Jessica Chapuis, like many art majors, ignores the naysayers and continues to be passionate about turning her major into a career.
Kind of a crazy, it seems like kind of a just silly thing to do, get a degree in painting, but I just decided to suck it up.
Unfortunately for Chapuis and many other students around campus, it's difficult for them to get their names out there. That is, until LSU Discover Day started in 2014.
We're constantly being pushed to build our CVs, our resumes, so any juried show that you can apply for is good. And so that was the case for Discover Day.
Sarah Firstel, the director of LSU Discover Day, says that this day gives students an opportunity they otherwise might not have.
So LSU Discover Day is a campus-wide symposium for students to present their research or creative works, and in particular we have categories for students to present posters, oral presentations, or visual, we call it visual displays, but it's really art.
The goals of LSU Discover Day are for students to present their research and findings in a comfortable environment and to get their names out into the world. But Firstel highlights a different goal.
And so I think for a lot of students, Discover Day should and could be an opportunity for them to sort of explore.
Chapuis wants to continue her education and hopefully become successful in the art industry.
And I looked at some of my professors who had done it and were successful, and I was encouraged by that, and so just kind of ran with it. I went with my gut and just kind of try to ignore the ideas that it's a crazy thing to do.
For Tiger TV, I'm Philip Flettrich. The LSU Museum of Natural Science houses exhibits of some of the most interesting and popular animals in the world, but the real work happens below the surface.
DNA sequencing is sequencing the genes, the genomes of organisms. So there's 4 letters that make up DNA, G, A, T, and C, and so it's determining the sequence of all those letters throughout the genome of organisms.
It is here, in the basement of Foster Hall, where Dr. Chris Austin and his team are working on sequencing the DNA of some of the rarest reptiles and amphibians in the world.
What we developed was a technique to help extract the DNA from the formalin preserved specimens, and then we leveraged these next generation sequencing technology to be able to sequence the genomes of organisms from these fluid preserved specimens, rare, endangered specimen species.
The research was funded by a grant from the National Science Foundation and allows Dr. Austin to travel to places such as New Guinea for his research.
So one of the things that we did was we sequenced a bunch of genes, thousands of genes actually, from these rare snakes, some of which are more than 100 years old. So we're able to not only get and we're not only able to extract DNA and sequence DNA from freshly preserved specimens, but also these really old specimens. And so for those specimens, they'd never been, the genomes had never been sequenced and never been placed in the tree of life, so that's what we did.
The ultimate goal for Austin would be to possibly one day resurrect these animals and to bring them back into the food chain. For Tiger TV, I'm Philip Flettrich.